It is the Red River Farm Network Crop Tour presented by Pioneer. Our thanks to field agronomist Larry Lunder, who's been ushering us through some of the western reaches of North Dakota today. Larry, we started out in Steele, North Dakota this morning. Give us a kind of a snapshot of what we saw at the start of the day.
Yeah, we started there with Mike Hagens from Quantum Ag North. Got a chance to look at some corn and some of the hybrids that are being driven in that area, like P88. 59 as well as P8592. From there we moved up to the McCluskey area and we got to talk with Paul Hagen, no relation to Mike, of Mid-States Ag, and Paul was talking about our new soybean enlist lineup, which includes of course P04A98s as well as P0638. Those are both enlist varieties, and those look to be very big varieties for us going into 2024 and look to have some really good performance this year. And then of course Paul talked a little bit about the canola. The canola has done really well in the areas that got more moisture this year. Paul in particular's big seller is a P505 Liberty Link that has done really well for him this past year. And then of course after that we came up to see Jason Foss with North Shore Seed, and Jason got to finish out the day with my favorite crop, which is sunflowers, and we have this field of HE 920s behind us. Good mid-maturity hybrid that's done very well for us, very consistent. Like Jason said, you can take it, put it just about anywhere. It will perform well. It tons out. It has oil. Been a good performer. Had some drought stress early on. You can see by probably not seeing the plant height on this field we'd expect to see, but yet we're forming good heads, and plant height doesn't pay, head diameter does. So all things considered, things look pretty good going into this fall.
What's the moisture situation been like in your territory?
For the most part of it, it has been the best moisture system I've seen in quite some time. Some of the crop, in my opinion, some of the dryland crop looks so good. I almost hate to talk about it because you feel like you're going to jinx it with some natural disaster, a hailstorm or an early frost, but we're looking to have a very good dryland soybean crop. I would say it's the same thing with the corn, and the sunflowers, which seem to always perform pretty well in our conditions, are looking to have yet another very good year too. So the look is very optimistic and it looks really good.
We were talking earlier, you're pretty optimistic about this soybean crop.
I feel really good about it. I don't know if I will see once it comes off, but this might be the best one I've ever seen in my career, and that spans a little while.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Good to hear. We've had some extra heat units. Has that been the case really through this region as well?
Yeah, we had probably more heat units early on. You know, we in some areas we were a little later getting into the field, and that was a concern for us. We thought, you know, how far behind would we be? Well, we had some good warm nights that really drove the crop growth well, and we got ahead on heat units. It's kind of evened out with some cooler weather, but I'd say we're running normal or slightly above, slightly below. The extended forecast looks pretty good, so I think as far as getting enough heat to finish the crops, things are looking pretty positive right now that we'll get that done.
It's always nice this time of year to start getting queued up for next year, for 2024. What are some of the things you're excited about as you look into next year?
Well, I'm certainly excited about the additional enlist beans we'll be bringing on. We'll be bringing on some additional 00 and earlier 01 type varieties to look at. We'll be bringing down some additional Liberty Link varieties of canola. We will also be bringing down some Optimum Glide, which we're new varieties of that. We had a few in this year, like 515G, which is proving to have done very well for us. So we have some excitement there. Really excited about a couple of the new corn hybrids. P82-288 appears to be a real solid hybrid coming into the lineup, and I'm very excited to see how that yields out at the end of the year. So a lot of good things coming, a lot of good things to be excited about, and we'll even have a couple of new sunflower hybrids to look at, which we haven't had for a few years going into 24. So a lot of reason to be optimistic and a lot of reason for excitement.
Indeed, and we hope these guys have a good, safe fall season as well. Larry, thanks for hosting us.
Thanks for coming out here. Always enjoy having you.
Larry Lunder with us, field agronomist with Pioneer. It's the first day of the Red River Farm Network Crop Tour presented by Pioneer.